What's going on, guys? So I have a branded Eldlich deck. Yeah, I know it's 2024, but believe it or not, this deck's actually good. It's leaning a little bit more into the stuns than it normally would. Of course, we don't have Mystic Mine anymore, unfortunately. Some people are probably happy with that, and other people are probably not. So we're going to play 2 of the Golden Lord. 2 is all you need, really. You know, the deck doesn't heavily rely on Eldlich himself. I got the double QCR, different variations. We're going to run 3 Sanguine, of course, 3 of the Conch. So there's an argument to run 3 of these now because it actually does something. It banishes something in the graveyard. So if you chain this at the right time, you can banish one of the essential pieces of the Fire King strategy. Of course, that's what our main goal is, to beat Fire Kings. And then the one Cursed Eldlich, you could argue to bump all these up to 3. However, this card is not that impactful anymore. If we're not playing like the full Eldlich version, like Zombie Eldlich, then at that point you would probably want more of these because you want to see all your engine. But this is a very small engine. It's 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 cards. One of the smallest engines that you can actually run, but it's very powerful and it's recursive. And we all know that Eldlich can do things that, you know, is pretty cool. You know, and I'll show you some combos here at the end, so stick around for the combos. So that's all for the Eldlich stuff. Let's get into the branded stuff. So of course we're gonna have 3 branded fusion, mandatory. We're gonna have 2 opening, 1 Aluber. Now, you can make the argument you don't even really have to play this, but you really don't normal summon that much in this deck, and you know it can help go into Typhon or something like that. So now we're gonna, and it also is gonna search, so you have a few different ways into it. 2 Fallen of Albaz, because again this deck is recursive. It's very unlikely that that you're gonna die on turn 2, so you're gonna want another one of these just in case you get one off of Albion or something like that. And then this. So in the combos, I'll show you, of course, the main goal of this deck is to get out Dragoon turn 1, have some floodgates down, and have the Eldlich engine going. You know, that's the end goal. But standard stuff for the branded engine. That's the really cool thing about this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 cards for the branded engine. Not that much for a small branded package. A Dragoon package, basically. But you can still get into all your other stuff. I'm not running Super Poly in this build. I probably would. I can consider cutting some things. I'm going to do some further testing, but I think Super Poly might end up making its way. So now for the floods, for all my degens out there. 3 skill drain, 3 summon limit, 3 solemn strike, which this isn't a floodgate, but it's a very powerful spell. Rivalry, Tikaboo. So with these only 1, that kind of sucks. Believe it or not, this one can kind of conflict a little bit, but in a pinch, you know, if you need to rely on the zombie monsters, then, you know, this could come up, but I'll probably end up cutting this, to be honest with you, the rivalry. Now for our, let me put this over here. I'll show you these other 2 traps. I'm going to play a small Dogmatica. Just 2 Dogmatica punishments, and I may cut the rivalry and add one of these, or I may just cut all of these together and go for a Super Poly. It's hard to say, but anyways, so yeah, lots of floodgates, lots of traps, but in all actuality it's not that many traps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then if you count the imperms, 14, 15, 16. So you're playing 16. So yeah, it's still a trap deck at the end of the day. So you're not getting too far from the point. I want to show that one little secret sauce last. 3 Ash. You know, I understand 6 hand traps isn't a lot, and you could argue, hey, why even play them at all? And that's a good argument. I may not even, but against some of the rogue strategies, 1 or 2 hand traps can really hurt them. I mean, at the right time, it can just completely shut them down in a lot of situations. Like I said, and typically going Second, you hold that in hand, you have the Dragoon negate. You know, it's going to be a pretty good situation for you to hold a hand trap or two in hand. The only thing this lacks is a draw engine, and I'm thinking about fixing that, but I haven't decided how I want to fix that just yet. So this card right here, a lot of y'all haven't seen it, and I just happen to have a QCR of it. It is called Carnot, the Eternal Machine. So let me read this to you. Cannot be normal summon set. Must first be special summon from your hand or graveyard during a duel in which your opponent has activated a monster effect in their hand or graveyard. Happens all the time now. You can only special summon Carnot once per turn. Once per turn, if your opponent activates a monster effect, except during the damage step, you can make this card gain 1,000 attack. If this card is sent to the graveyard, except from the hand or deck, shuffle this card into the deck. So it's recursive. It kind of fits the mold of Eldlich, and it's a rank 10 to help you get into those plays. So now on to the extra deck. Like I said, this is just a little secret sauce. I'll probably end up cutting this in the Rivalry and maybe one of the Dogmatica for a Super Poly, but I just haven't decided yet. So that's just something I was tinkering with. It's pretty cool. Good for breaking boards. This deck can actually break boards better than you think. It can go second better than you would think. So for the extra deck, we're going to have one Mirror Jade. We're going to have one Albion. We're going to have one Titaniclad because it's easy to make in this deck. And it's good for going second. Lebellion. And where's the other one? Oh, there's not another one. So Dragoon, the honorary branded card. And Dracodispelia, the other honorary branded card. So going against branded, you know, that's one reason I want a Super Poly. I'm thinking about Super Poly, cutting the Dogmatica. Because I'm not playing the full Dogmatica engine. I couldn't find all my Nadir certs, but then again, it kind of conflicts with what you're trying to do here. So I'll probably get rid of it, but for now, here is the targets for that. Let me show you. So you have Garura, you have Entis, 2 Entis, and that's pretty much it for the Dogmatica stuff. Plus you have big bodies in there. You have all these cards. So this one, we all know what this one does. Basically it becomes like unaffected. This one can burn your opponent in time, and it can rank up into this, and theoretically OTK. Sometimes that comes up, believe it or not. Believe it or not, that comes up. And like I said, I'm playing that other rank 10 that's easy to get out. Then you have Typhon just because it's good. And in this deck, you know, you're not going to be summoning 5 bodies on the field. So you need something to slow the game down. Zeus, just because, you know, it's Zeus, you know, you need it. And then this card, it's a card we can go into pretty easily. And it can help, you know, it can win games. In other decks, I've had it actually win me games before. So, yeah, that is the deck. Now, let's get into some combos. All right, guys, now we'll do some test hands. Not necessarily a combo guide because you don't always get to combo with this. And even if you do going to call it a combo, I don't really consider summoning 2 monsters a combo. So here's our hand. This isn't a bad hand. It's honestly not the best, but it's not the greatest either. So what you can do here is you would normal summon this, try to go for Branded Fusion. You know, if that gets interrupted, you know, that sucks, but you still end pretty good because you're going to get to bring your Golden Lord out no matter what the next turn. And you have a Flood, and you have this, and then you have this. So you're not in too bad a shape, but let me show you what the deck wants to do. Activate Branded Fusion. So here's the main combo. So you're going to send the light, Hexsealed Fusion to the grave. We're going to go into this trigger. We're going to banish these 2, and then we bring out Dragoon. That's our boss monster, of course. So we're going to keep him. This will go to the grave. So here's our hand now. So the good thing about this is whether Eldlich ends up in the grave or in our hand, it doesn't really matter. So we're going to set 1, set 2, and set 3. So we'll have the skill drain, we'll have this, we'll have that, and we'll have an Omni Negate. So we're going to use this at the most impactful time. At this point, they don't know what we're playing. They might just think we're playing, you know, for all they know, we're playing Branded Chimera. You know, at this point, they don't know. So turn passes. Wait till you have to use this. You know, use strike at the best time. Imperm, you're gonna have to use that. We have 3 interruptions here. So then we use the Omni Negate Dragoon, and let's just say they clear this still with 1 monster on board. We don't have to use this. We don't have to use that. Okay, so if they end on like I don't know, just some random extra deck monster, we would normal summon this. Fuse, let's just say it's an extra deck monster. Go into Dragoon. Oh, actually, we couldn't do that. I'm sorry. I forget about the discard. If that's the play you know you have, then you can pop this, bring Eldlich out. Depending on what plays stronger, you could pop this, bring Eldlich out, or you could keep it in hand. So your option would be 3,500 beater, or keep this in hand and then make Titaniclad, Mirajade, whatever you need to make and whatever is the most optimal at the time. So either way, both of these are going to end up back in grave. Or you could just keep Fallen of Albaz and summon that. So banish whatever's on their field if there's anything else. 3K, 4K, 2,500. That's game. You know, that's, I know there's a lot of ifs and whatnots with that. And it's typically going to be a more grindy game. You know, if you know you can't go for game, you may want to conserve and really just sit on that Dragoon, because sometimes Dragoon is just hard for them to out. Let me do one more little test hand. It's a pretty linear deck. I mean, it's a simple deck. It's a good deck for new people, I think. Timing your spells and traps are one thing. Okay, so again, this hand is really good. So, stand by main, you would activate Branded Fusion. Let me just show you a deviation you can do here. If you want to get your Eldlich stuff in the loop already, since we have a Sanguine in hand, we'll send this and this. So we're still going to go into Albion. This is a unique situation where we have the Hex sealed in hand. And keep in mind, Albion's effect is, hold on, banish fusion materials from your hand, field, or graveyard. Yes. So we would go into this. Now we would make Dragoon, since we open with the Hex. So this is actually a really, really good hand. We have Dogmatic Punishment. Actually, this is actually like a really good hand. So we're going to bring out Dragoon. The only issue here is our resources. So if you think the Eldlich pop is going to be valuable, you can pop this special Eldlich. Now he's just going to be a big wall that can't be destroyed. And this will trigger. So we can set whichever one you think would be more valuable. And then in this case, you'd have to kind of choose between Dogmatic Punishment and this. So in all actuality, and you could leave the Eldlich in the grave for follow-up. But right now you're just building a big wall. So you could put Summon Limit up. Keep the Dogmatic Punishment in hand. I think that's more powerful. Unless you really suspect Duster or something. But going first, game one, you're not going to be expecting that. So this is how we play it. Plus we'd have an Omni Negate with Dragoon anyway, so it wouldn't matter. But, you know, whatever. Say they do just happen to open up the Duster. Pop. Okay. Negate and destroy. Okay. Alright. He's going to be 4,000 attack now. What next? They're going to summon something. a monster. All right, we're gonna do this. Destroy it. Okay. Now they're gonna destroy summon something else. All right, we're gonna summon limit. Guess what? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna beat a monster that can't be targeted and destroyed by card effects? And how are you gonna be a 3800 beater with no more summons left? You're not. I mean, that's just the reality of it. So next turn, you draw that, whatever. I mean, at this point, you're just, if you want to, I mean, this is honest, you still have a negate and destroy. At this point right here, this is one of those cases where you can make this guy right here. And you should probably play SP in this deck, but I built this deck for my son. So you can bring this out. If you want to get rid of the summon limit, you can pop this, bring this out, and you just go for game here. You just go for game. 3,500, 3K, and a banish. Or you can bump them up. You have a Dragoon that's like 4K, possibly 5K if you have to negate something. I mean, that's game. That's just game. And it's simple. Simple deck. It does nothing fancy. I like that. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know if you have any suggestions on an Eldlich deck that, you know, maybe I'm not thinking of. Like I said, I'm thinking about adding Super Poly to this, but my issue is having another discard in your hand. You know, it's hard to have that many discards. But, you know, going second, you're going to have empty hands a lot in this deck is what I'm getting at. And it's kind of hard. So, with having no draw engine, kind of hurts this deck. But at some point, you start cutting stuff, and then you get away from all the floodgates. And then you're not playing Trap Eldlich anymore. You're just playing a bad combo deck at that point. So, you get what I'm saying? It's like give or take. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. And we'll see you on the next one.